Welcome to Peak Radar Live. I'm Angela Seals, the host of the show, and I am here today in the Pikes Peak Center with Nathan Newbrough, who is the CEO of the Colorado Springs Philharmonic. They're getting ready for their comeback celebration.
Absolutely.
It was such a big word, the word comeback, that it took me a second to really conjure it there. What does the word comeback mean for you all as we head into this concert weekend?
Yeah, there's a lot bound up in that word, and we've been using it a lot. But I think that the word comeback on its own means that you were gone. The Philharmonic was never really gone, but we were quiet. We've been quiet for a number of months, and that's not really our style. It's not our style to be quiet. We're here to make some noise. Right. And this is the first moment this weekend. This is the first time in which we have the full complement of the Philharmonic together again with our music director here in the Springs, Josep Caballé-Domènech. He's back, and we're thrilled to have him back, to have them all back on stage. Yeah. And this is the essential concert. If you're a fan of the Philharmonic, if you love and appreciate what we do, this is the time to come out.
This is the moment to come out and show that. So how are Josep and the musicians feeling as they're rehearsing here in the last few days?
Well, one thing people don't know about us is they don't hold rehearsals all year long. We start rehearsing 4 days before the concert.
Wow.
And so the first rehearsal was Tuesday night, 2 days ago. Yeah. And it was something very, very special, Angela. I was here for most of the rehearsal, and the musicians just instantly reconnected with Josep. When he walked in, there were smiles on faces, maybe some tears in the corner of someone's eye. It was really a special time. And they had a few words at the beginning of rehearsal and then said, okay, let's make music.
Yes.
And it began, and it was just like old times. So they're back together again. This is the comeback. This is the time also for the audience to come back and enjoy the Philharmonic once again.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, the story of comeback is very much the story of the Colorado Springs Philharmonic. That resilience is something that the organization has demonstrated over and over through many chapters in almost 100 years, 92?
95
years.
95th season.
So what do you hope people see about that resilience this weekend? Well,
one thing I like to remind people of is that a Philharmonic, a great symphony orchestra, doesn't just happen in a community. It took some real courage in the very beginning to establish a set of professional musicians. And one thing that people don't know is that we were professional musicians from the very beginning. And so it didn't start out with a group of volunteers. They said, no, it's important that we have professional musicians on stage from the very beginning. But through that time, we've gone through depression. We've gone through a world war. We've gone through armed conflict overseas. And so those were moments that people will never forget. And this is another one of those. And so a Philharmonic isn't just something that bursts forth and is guaranteed forever.
Right.
It's not guaranteed forever. It's a large organization. I think maybe a cornerstone organization in our region, but it's not guaranteed. It's something that we all have to protect. It's something that we have to rally together and make sure that it lasts and lasts for generations to come.
So what will folks experience when they come to the comeback celebration? The concerts are January 15th and 16th, and all of the details are, as always, on peakradar.com. You'll find a link right in the caption of this video. Tell us about the program. What will audiences hear?
Oh, it's fantastic. So it will. One thing that you need to know is that each Masterworks concert this season has a local premiere from a composer that we've never performed before.
I love that.
Right. Yeah. So the one for this performance, it starts with Scott Ordway, a living composer, with his new work In the Kingdom of Bells. And
what a title.
What it imagines is all of the bells of the world sounding simultaneously as a moment of peace and reflection and common good thoughts among people all over the world. And so that's a great way to start this performance.
What an opening. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about that. And what that means in comeback, in recovery, in resilience. What an incredible open.
Yes. Yes, and then from there we go on to the Brahms Haydn Variations. Fantastic, fantastic piece, and showcasing the sections of the orchestra in ways that are unexpected and really joyous. And so Brahms Haydn Variations, and then we end with Rachmaninoff's third piano concerto, performed by Van Cliburn gold medal winner Yequan Sunwoo, who just arrived in town. He'll start rehearsing tonight, and we are really excited to have him with us.
We just saw them tuning that piano too, that incredibly gorgeous grand piano on stage. We peeked in and saw before we came in here.
We brought in a special piano just for this performance. It's really
going to really special. Take that piano on a ride during the program. Who chooses the concerts for the season?
Well, our music director is the final word, right? But we're very collaborative about these things, and so we share thoughts. We start each programming process each year by sharing thoughts about what's the message we want to send to the community. What do the musicians need to become perhaps a better orchestra? What do they need to stretch their wings a little bit, but also what does the community need from us? What does the audience desire? So we try to wrap all of these things into the conversation so that we can come out with something that is both desired by the audience, that is refreshing and rejuvenating for the musicians, because nobody wants an orchestra that only plays Beethoven or Tchaikovsky all the time, as much as we love Beethoven and Tchaikovsky. Of course. But
and when you look at the season, that this is the opening concert of the season, continues through May. What do you hope people see about the 2022 Philharmonic in that lineup, in those choices?
Right. Well, I think every organization everywhere has had to adapt during these times, but we all adapt with an expectation that one day things will feel normal once again, and I think we can accept that they don't feel normal just yet. Some audience members do not feel comfortable coming out to live events yet. We respect that, and that's why we give them opportunities to exchange their tickets. But we will have a very joyous audience there this weekend.
I'm so excited.
You're coming.
I'll be here Saturday night. And I've had experiences just in the past few months of being live in audiences that I think I'll remember the rest of my life, because I feel like we all are sensitive to what it is to be in the room together in a different way than we were before. There's like an electricity that you feel when you're right there in the room.
Yes.
And I think we all know that. That's why we love live performance, but that joy and the gratitude of it is something I'm so excited about.
Yeah. It's something that musicians comment about. It's certainly something that our audience feels. There's a great exchange of this electric energy, and any performer knows this. When they're performing for an empty hall, for an empty room, it's I won't say demoralizing, but there's something that's lost in that. When you're performing for an audience that is really with you, that is really feeling what you're feeling, and you can tell that they're receiving the energy that you're giving them, there's an exchange that happens, and it's really something special. So the Philharmonic is about live performance. I will tell a secret. Okay. Don't tell anyone.
You're about to hear it here on Peak Radar Live.
I don't want to see any more Zoom performances. And that's why the Philharmonic is so dedicated to live performance. And so it's not really a secret, but it is. So it's imbued throughout what we do, and we're committed to staying live. We're committed to providing something that's extremely special, and you can only get in a live concert hall like the Pikes Peak Center.
Being right here in the Pikes Peak Center with those acoustics and with that sense of that space and what unfolds in that space. What do you think that this kind of connects, because the whole arts community has been adapting and has been virtual and has been back in person and then virtual again. What do you think that this weekend, seeing the Philharmonic back on stage, means to the larger arts community here?
Well, first of all, I think there is really valuable work that's been happening during all of these months, in both musically and in other art forms, and those are all extremely valuable. To the extent that the Philharmonic plays a role as one of the larger arts organizations, we are, first of all, we're honored to be thought of that way, and we think that we have an obligation to maintain a really high level of artistry. Our musicians do that in every performance. But I think it means something to the rest of the arts community when they can see large organizations and large performances coming back. And so this is the right time for us. Others may be later, others may be sooner, but this is the right time for us. And I think that to the extent that we can be an inspiration to others, it's our honor to play that role.
Well, I know that your patrons and audiences are going to be here for it.
They really will.
And so let's talk. Final thing I wanted to touch on is what you need from them, because it's easy, I think, to think of the large organizations as kind of Teflon, as there's a stability in classical music, in orchestras. There's just this sense of stability, and like you don't need anything from the community. You're here, and that's not true.
No.
So especially in this fragile moment of beginning, what do you need from your audiences this weekend and this season?
Thank you for asking that. We need, of course, their support. We need them to attend. We need them there with us when it feels right for that audience member to return to performance. We need them to do that. We need them to be there with us. We need their support, of course, but also their understanding that this will not be an overnight comeback. This is the comeback celebration concert this weekend, but this is not an overnight thing. This may be a series of years over which we are sort of bumping back to normal, just like the rest of the arts community, just like the world. So I think people need to understand that, and we appreciate their understanding and their commonality that they share with us in that regard. But moreover, I think it's especially important that people understand that these are humans on stage and
who live here.
Yeah, for sure, and are just as concerned about the coronavirus as the rest of us. But we are. I think that it's important that we all understand this is something very special and not something guaranteed. This is not something that's guaranteed, and so we are. The Philharmonic is stable. We want to be stable for a long time to come, but it does take a community to guarantee that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. There's a different posture between being a consumer of entertainment and coming and expecting everything to be perfect, or else you're going to leave and complain. Right. Yes. And being a partner.
Right.
With your neighbors who are up on stage, and understanding that the energy you send and they're sending to you is essential. And that comes through participation, it comes through donation, it comes through spreading the word, and showing up over and over the way the arts have been showing up for us. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you.
Please know that all of us are excited for the comeback of the Colorado Springs Philharmonic. The comeback celebration concerts are this weekend on January 15th at 7:30 and Sunday, January 16th at 2:30 for a matinee performance. Make sure you attend or check out their full season at csphilharmonic.org or peakradar.com.